Yo, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about the YBA update because it just came out and people are going to want to hear about it. And also because I want views. So why not? We're getting this out as fast as possible. Let's roll. What you're seeing in the back right now is the Crazy Diamond Rework skill tree, because I know people want to see that in case they don't already have Crazy Diamond or for some reason haven't watched Uzu's little showcase video. If you haven't, here's the skill tree. I'll be using the new reworked stand in all of the background footage. Obviously, I didn't play 1v1s because, again, I want to get this out as quick as possible in the interest of time. I'll start with, obviously, the biggest thing here, which is the Crazy Diamond rework. What do I think? Very simple. It's incredible. It looks really, really cool. All of the stuff, it's clear they put a lot of effort into, and honestly, it's like hard to even compare the old Crazy Diamond to the new one, just because old Crazy Diamond had been left alone for so long that seeing the old model do all of this crazy shit is super jarring. Like seriously, just yesterday, this stand was maybe a support stand you'd use in SBR, and it was just rock trap the stand. That's all it was. It had like 2 moves. Wall had so much end lag that if you used it, 99% of the time people would punish you for it even if you landed it. And bearing shot was the only good move it had. That was just what it was. It was the only good move. So you had M1s, bearing shot, and rock trap. And if people knew how to parry rock trap, you were just useless. Crazy Diamond sucked. It was just terrible. Now, even if it's terrible, which it doesn't seem like it's going to be just by the amount of moves alone, at the very least, it'll look good while it's being terrible, rather than looking awful and being terrible. Honestly, just the production value alone between Stone Free and the new Crazy Diamond rework is really, really reassuring in a sense that I hope that we eventually get reworks for all of these stands, and maybe at that point we'll see reworks to some of the stands that I actually play, rather than this stand and Stone Free, which I can't see myself playing a whole lot of, but who knows. I'm looking, of course, at stands like the World AU, the World Over Heaven. I like the World. Did I mention I like the World? As for the creativity on the moveset itself, I mean, it's Crazy Diamond. There's nothing groundbreaking here. Obviously, why would there be? There doesn't need to be. I think the addition of the synergy between being able to throw your blood at the enemy and then have a tracking shard come after them is pretty cool. Anyways, I don't know when I'm going to do a stand review on this. I usually do them right after they come out. I don't know, I just haven't been feeling YBA lately, so I don't know if this is going to come out within a reasonable time frame or not. Maybe it'll come out on Friday, maybe it'll show up on Monday. I'm just not sure. The last thing to note on Crazy Diamond is that I think the trend of having finisher cutscenes or finisher moves as a whole has really opened up YBA's potential to give every stand the potential of having its at least one, I guess, really cool move that looks flashy and cool without it just being stupidly overpowered and being a free damage tool like Star Platinum the World's Beatdown used to be. So while the finisher mechanic was kind of awkward when it first came out, I think it's pretty clear that if we continue to get moves that operate with it, and it enables us to continue to get cutscene moves that aren't locked behind arbitrary requirements, that's really good news. Anyways, with that, we can finally move past the Crazy Diamond rework and take a look at the rest of the stuff that was added in the update. And there's not a whole lot here, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. First thing on the list, which I didn't screenshot, and I'm not going to go back to get a screenshot because I'm lazy, is that they changed the way skill keybinds were rebound. Basically, if you have a stand skill and a fighting style skill bound to the same key, and then you equip the... Basically, if you have a stand skill and a fighting style... Basically, if you have a stand skill and a fighting style... Fuck! Basically, if you have a stand style key and a... God damn it! Basically, if you have a stand style... I lost my train of thought again. This is a joke. Alright, if you have 2 skills bound to the same key that are from your stand and your fighting style, Jesus Christ, why was that so hard to say? Rather than it just deciding which one you get to use and locking off the other one, now if you use the skill with your standout and no weapon equipped, it'll use the stand skill, and if you take out your weapon, a la block. And if you take out your weapon, a la block. Fuck! Now if you take out your weapon a la boxing gloves and then you use the skill, it'll use the fighting style skill rather than the stand skill. I've already had somebody that reported to me in my DMs about 15 minutes after the update went live saying that this broke 1v1 skill binds, but I don't know if that's true, so I'm just throwing that in as conjecture. We'll find out soon. This is a cool change, especially when considering how many moves new stands have, so I think it's welcome. Moving on to stand balances, and I'm only really going to cover the important stuff on here. D4C clones and Scary Monster minions will despawn now if they get too far from their user. Toggle armor for Silver Chariot has been changed to Shed armor, and the effects of it have been reworked, but how I'm not entirely sure because I haven't checked yet. A few moves got added to the 2-second global time stop list, one of them being time skip, which I thought was kind of weird since that move doesn't do damage, but whatever. I suppose the idea is that you can't time skip into the air and time stop, but I don't know. Putting a block on something like this just seems weird to me. Probably won't make a huge difference, but just my 2 cents. The heal for GE and GER can be cancelled, which I'm not sure why it couldn't before, and there's a 4-second cooldown when you use the tree so that you can't just tree and then heal yourself. String Slam got a reduced windup for Stone Free. I guess that's okay. I don't see that being a huge problem. Sea Moon finally got some nerfs, thank the Lord. Gravitational Shift no longer adds the damage multiplier and counter duration buff when people are hit by it. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that you got a buffed counter duration with Gravitational Shift, but that's really stupid. I don't think that's hugely surprising to anyone. The trade-off is that the stun for the move is increased and the range is increased, but if you can block it, I don't see that being a huge problem. And apparently it also had hyper armor, which I had no idea it had, but that's gone too. Good riddance. Hopefully this will mean that Sea Moon is a little bit more in line with everything else and not just a one trick where you hit someone 4 times and kill them when they have to hit you 20. Speaking of total bullshit, and Anubis, hopefully, pray to the lords, won't have me automatically use my Rage Quit Pact every time I see it. The overall damage for the stand was increased by 20%, and the M1 stun was removed. Or not really removed, but you don't get true M1s anymore. M1s still have stun just like any other stand, or at least I would hope they do. To make up for this, obviously there's the 20% damage increase, but there's also reduced cooldowns for most of the moves. The passive was replaced with a higher attack speed for your M1s, as well as the last M1 of an M1 combo block breaking. The last M1 breaking blocks is probably going to be totally useless, but the higher attack speed is definitely necessary, so that's a good thing. I think Anubis paired with Pluck is still going to be absurdly obnoxious, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as it was before. Unless, of course, that higher attack speed paired with the attack speed buffs from Pluck make it so that your M1's true combo again. I hope they tested this, because if that's still a problem, well then we still have a problem now, don't we? Aerosmith's Vola Barrage had its damage nerfed and its knockback removed. And Red Hot Chili Peppers got a huge mountain of buffs that it probably didn't need, but admittedly I didn't get a chance to make a So They Buffed Red Hot Chili Pepper video, so we'll see if this is way too overtuned or not when I get a chance to play it. It seemed to me like Red Hot Chili Pepper was in a decent spot before, and then they buffed it a bunch. I didn't really use it, and now they buffed it a bunch again. Not sure why, we'll see. But anyways, Electrify now gives you TP dashes a la Made in Heaven. Pinky Slash's cooldown and windup have been reduced, and Electric Discharge's windup has also been reduced. Let's hope this, combined with everything it got the last patch, doesn't totally break the stand and make it another annoying M1 lock stand. Because fun fact, Electrify turns it into Anubis. And I don't want another Anubis. Thanks. Star Platinum the World got a reduced end lag on Platinum Slam and an increased end lag on Skull Crusher. Star Platinum got its inhale reduced, which should be good because inhale was stupid before and was still stupid after the patch, so hopefully that'll put things more in line. Destructive Power doesn't increase healing anymore. I'm gonna level with you here. I don't know which stands this affects, if it's all of them or none of them. Suppose we'll see. The World AU got some odd changes. Smoke Grenade's duration was reduced, which I suppose makes sense. The knockback on Pocket Revolver was removed, which also makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is the World AU's Knives stun being reduced. I don't know how much it was reduced by, but I don't know why they did this rather than just putting the World AU's Knives more in line with other stands' knives, but I don't know, man. I don't make the game and I haven't played with this yet, so I don't want to trash on it too hard. The wording for the Hermit Purple changes, at least the second one, is kind of weird. What we do know is that Vine Trap's default stun was reduced, but what we don't know is what the hell happened with Double Vine Slap, because I'm gonna read this patch note to you and you tell me if you can figure it out, because I only figured out the second part. Reduced Double Vine Slap's second stun, plus removed its hyper armor and the knockback. What is Double Vine Slap's second stun? Does that mean the second hit of that is reduced stun? Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at English. This is just kind of awkward wording. My assumption is that the second hit of Double Vine Slap does less stun, but Double Vine Slap has no more hyper armor and the knockback was reduced or removed. It's hard to say. I honestly don't know. I'm trying my best here for you guys, I promise. Anyways, SCR. They reduced the arrow barrage's damage. Thank the Lord, and after waking up from Conqueror's Will, your stand will automatically summon. For those who didn't know, Arrow Barrage did an absolute absurd amount of damage for no reason, and it's been changed. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they figured out that you can just barrage back against Arrow Barrage and then use your spec block break for free damage and then run away a little bit until your barrage comes back. Bada boom, bada bam, you punished them for using a move. You've been able to do that with spec barrages forever. Now you can do it with the arrow barrage, and it just makes you get hurt constantly for using a move. I don't really get it. Either make arrow barrage ragdoll, or just leave it the way it was before, now that we've hopefully gotten rid of the auto combo that takes away all of your health. Act 4 got a reduced wormhole uppercut windup, as well as an increase in speed on the nail glide, and an extra destructive power node. I honest to God don't really know if Act 4 needed another destructive power node. I mean, honestly, right now, in my opinion, Act 4 is in a pretty decent spot, aside from some bugs with nails, which they also said they hopefully fixed. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we should keep buffing Act 4. I think you guys are gonna regret constantly buffing a projectile stand. Fighting against people who spam projectiles already isn't fun. Buffing that kind of stuff, usually not a super great call, but I suppose we'll see. And finally, a buff for Universe Reset for whatever reason, which makes the people that are in it take true damage from all sources while they're in the alternate universe form. I don't see this making a huge impact on gameplay, but it's kind of cool, so I don't mind. And that is all of the stuff in the patch notes. Or at the very least, everything that I thought was of note in the patch notes, rather. Overall, most of what is here is good, which is good. If anything, it's nice to even read patch notes at all, as honestly, I've been pretty jaded when it comes to anything YBA after a year of me having to make videos on a game that's had absolutely nothing happen to it in a year. And if anything, I'm really glad that we got some changes to Anubis before the next year-long break, because if I had to quit out every time I saw Anubis pluck for another year, I probably would have lost my mind. Regardless of all that, the new Crazy Diamond rework is sick, and it makes me hope that someday we can get a The World rework, so that the Road Roller is actually a cutscene and has the same visual and audio fidelity that the new beatdowns have, instead of just being some lame-o move that you throw out and doesn't work half the time. Paragon suggested in some polls to have some new moves added to the world, and if we got those, I would hope that they'd have the same kind of visual and audio fidelity that the Crazy Diamond rework has. So that's assuming we even get any of that, because it's all speculation at the end of the day. So overall, aside from the fact that we are never going to get free spec storage and Uzu is trolling me, and yes, that is absolutely the stance I'm taking at this point, I'm sure of it, but I won't shut up about it because I think it's funny. The update is good, and I think people will enjoy playing it. With that, I'm wrapping up here. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and subscribe. Since this video is going up on the day that I recorded it, which basically never happens, my stream will be going live probably around 4 p.m., and I won't be playing YBA. Sorry. Season 2 of Battlefield came out yesterday, and I'd much rather be playing that. So if you want to stop by and say hello, the stream will be linked in the description. I try to stream 5 days a week at around the same time. Anyways, that's all I got, so have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.